In this video, we will see what is Flutter and how it works. Flutter is a mobile UI framework developed by Google, which allows you to build mobile apps for both iOS and Android with one single codebase. One phrase that you will hear a lot is that in Flutter, everything is a widget. Widgets are the basic building blocks of the user interface of any Flutter app. Anything that we build in Flutter from a single page to a full app is done by combining widgets together into a widget tree. So we can take as an example the time tracker app that we are going to build. Here we have a sign-in page. The title at the top is a widget. The purple bar that sits at the top is a widget itself. The entire gray area that we see over here is a container widget, and so is the sign-in label. All the buttons that you see here are widgets as well, and even the logos for the Google and Facebook sign-in buttons are widgets themselves. So the way we would create a page like this is by composing widgets together into a hierarchy, and we will see in detail exactly how this is done. Now, this screen over here is just a simple page in our time tracker app, but in Flutter, everything is made of widgets, and in fact, even the entire app itself is a widget. As we will see, Flutter has a rich set of widgets that come out of the box, and you can use them to build your own layouts. Naturally, when you build an app in Flutter, you are combining widgets together, and by doing that, you create your own widgets. So, how can we use Flutter to build apps that run on iOS and Android? Well, we have discovered that to write a Flutter app, we need to write Dart code, and this is going to use widgets and APIs from the Flutter SDK. Then, we can choose to compile this into native code for iOS and Android. So, when we are developing our own apps, we can compile and run them in debug mode on the iOS simulator and Android emulator, or if we prefer, we can run them on a real device. And once our code is ready, we can compile our apps in release mode, and when we do this, our apps will be optimized for best performance. In summary, in this video we have seen how everything that we build in Flutter is made of widgets, and to write an app in Flutter we need to write code in Dart, and this is then compiled into native code for iOS and Android. Before we start building apps in Flutter, we need to download the Flutter SDK, and we'll also need to download and configure an IDE, which is the program that we will use to write our Flutter apps. By the way, you can develop apps in Flutter both on macOS and Windows, and we will go through all the installation instructions in the coming sections. But before we do that, I'm going to give you an in-depth overview of the Dart language. By the way, if you like my course, I encourage you to give it a positive review, and this really helps to make the course stand out so that others can find it. Okay, so let's continue on the next section.